Hey there, so this is going to be a bit of a different video because this is not about beauty. As I have alluded to, I think, and even mentioned slightly, I have mental illness. I have quite a few of them actually, and they are a massive part of my life. They control every waking moment of my life. And because of this, I feel like it'd be a bit of a lie not to include it in my channel, and on top of that, a lot of people have asked if I can speak about it, which I'm all for, because one thing that I am very, very passionate about is to end the stigma that surrounds mental illness when so many people suffer. I'm on my soapbox. Okay, get off, Catherine. But basically today I want to cover the basics. I want to explain the illnesses that I have and a bit about how they affect me and what I'm doing to recover from them at the minute. So I'll start off with explaining what I have. I have severe generalized anxiety disorder, I have agoraphobia, I have depression, and I have an eating disorder. The reason I don't have a specific name for an eating disorder is because I don't completely fit under a specific one. The closest for me and the one that suits me the best is BED, otherwise known as binge eating disorder. I have had mental illness since I was 11 years old, and that was when I was officially diagnosed. However, it's looking back on my childhood, it's pretty obvious I've had some form of anxiety for my entire life, whether it was separation anxiety, social anxiety, whatever it was. My background in mental illness is a long one, and I think I will dedicate several videos to my history of mental illness. But it has always affected me. It meant that I left school at a very, very young age, i.e. 12, and I was homeschooled on and off. It meant that I have always had a very limited social life, and when I did get friends, I got so excited I often pushed them away. I hate to sound really negative, but it's ruined very big parts of my life. I was never the normal teenager that I desperately craved to be, and I think as a teenager the only thing you ever want is to be accepted. And I never got accepted. I got tolerated. I was seen as too different because I suffered as I did, and if I'm honest, I didn't even realise I suffered. I have not been able to work for about 4 years now. 2012 November time, I left the current job I was in. I was signed off for 6 weeks. Then I went back for 3 days, got signed off again, and in January I then quit. Hadn't been there very long at the time, and they had extremely stable grounds to fire me, and out of the two, quitting was the obvious option. And I don't regret that. It was the right option for me at the time. Over the next 4 years, my mental illness and mental health gradually got worse. A lot of things happened in life. We've had a very rough few years with grievances and job losses and just general crap thrown at me, at this family. It's been tough. Did try and get a job a year later. I lasted 2 weeks, and since then I have been on employee support allowance, ESA. I was officially signed off as unfit to work. I gradually got worse as years have gone by, and now In 2015 was my worst year. In 2015, I can count the amount of times that I left my house up until November on two hands. I became a hermit. I was scared of my own shadow. I didn't want to leave this house. I didn't want to leave my safety zone, and so I didn't. It really became horrible, and I got worse and worse as time went on. I attempted to try and improve, and then something would come up, a blip here and there, and I would fall back down to the start again. And last year was my worst year. It's slowly been getting worse as the years progressed. Instead of getting better, I got worse. As for help wise, I am on fluoxetine, otherwise known as Prozac. I have varied the dosage over the past 4 years, but for over a year now I've been on 40, I think it's called milligrams. Yeah, milligrams. I can just see mg, I can't remember the actual name, but yeah, milligrams. I do think people put a lot of emphasis on mental illness medicine though. Fluoxetine helps, it really does. It suits me down to the ground for me personally. But it's not a cure. There isn't a cure. And the first year that I was signed off, so 2013, I had a 6-week CBT course. And after that, I got no other help. I did ask for help. I did not get any more. I think our NHS is amazing. I think what it does is incredible, and they are severely underpaid and severely overworked. Unfortunately, the mental health services need massive improvement. Massive improvement. The help I have got since the age of 11 has been few and far between, and follow-ups and things like that were very, very rare. Last year I was referred to life skill courses, which were basically what I'd already been on a few years previously. I was so bad at that time last year that I just didn't make them. The person running them suggested something called iTalk to me. This half NHS, half charity run company that will help get treatment for people with anxiety and depression and OCD, agoraphobia, anxiety related illnesses basically. You can self-refer, so I self-referred and I got an appointment, and it was tough at first. I didn't make my first couple of appointments. I eventually did, and it changed my life. I had 16 sessions, and I had CBT, otherwise known as cognitive behavioural therapy. But it was nothing like the courses I'd had previously. It was one-to-one with a wonderful woman who I can never thank enough. I really can't. She was so supportive and patient with me, and there was times where I didn't make it, times where I fell apart, and she was there, and she helped push me when I couldn't. Something that I find really hard as someone with mental illness is pushing yourself, because everything in your body, in your mind, is screaming at you to run, and it's this fight or flight trigger that is permanently on flight. As for me personally, avoidance has always been a massive thing of mine, and we finally figured out how to stop myself avoiding, and we figured out where this all came from. And nowadays, this is the end of June 2016, and I'm doing 10 times better than I have in years. I am getting out twice a week. It's not always easy. Even just today I went for a picnic with my mum and I really didn't cope well, and we found that picnics are not for me. I'm not an outdoors person, and it really made me feel very unsafe, very exposed. If you want to use the light sort of scale, it was bright red, flashing red. No, I couldn't deal with it. But I have managed things such as being left by myself in a small shopping centre when mum walked up the high street, massive thing for me. I'm getting out twice a week, as I said. I'm more outspoken than I used to be. I was always an outspoken person, but as my mental health got worse, that left me. And I'm not outspoken in the traditional sense. I'm outspoken on what matters to me. If it doesn't matter to me, I'm not going to rile up someone for the sake of riling someone up. But I can speak out if I want to now. I feel like I can say what's on my mind more than I did before. I had 16 CBT sessions from November to May, sorry. And I really miss them actually, because they were stability in my life. I am still improving about them though. That's the big thing, and I do have a follow-up appointment in August. I have achieved more than I ever thought possible in 8 months-ish. I never knew that I could get better, and I didn't think I'd ever get better. And I'm not better by a long shot. I am on the road to recovery. I'm travelling the road. But that's an achievement in itself. Mental health is so misunderstood because I think it's so misunderstood because we don't understand it ourselves. How do you describe the daily battle that goes on in your head? How do you describe that going from the house to the car feels impossible and like you're going to have to swim through a pool of sharks? There is no way to describe it, and it is horrible, and it feels, I just can't explain it. I don't know how to explain it, and this is the thing, I've been asked to explain it many times and I don't know. For me, my biggest issue has always been my anxiety. My anxiety sort of caused my depression, and it caused my agoraphobia, which is an anxiety disorder. And in a way, it caused my eating disorder. It was the root cause of all evil, if you like. I was originally told I had social anxiety, then it was severe social anxiety, now it is severe generalised anxiety, and I personally feel severe generalised anxiety fits me best because it's not just social situations I am anxious over, it's anything and everything, and the smallest thing to the biggest thing. I don't know how to explain the feeling of being worried all the time. We all get worried, of course we do, and we all get nervous, and we all feel anxious sometimes. But have you ever felt anxious about putting eyeliner on? And I mean really anxious. I mean like first date nerves, anxious over putting eyeliner on. Because I have multiple times. In fact, I feel it every day. The other day, my mum said about that feeling in the pit of your stomach when you worry something's going to go wrong. That not feeling. And I pointed out that's what I deal with every day. The constant fear of something going wrong. The constant fear of feeling like I'm not good enough and I'm not worth enough and I'm never going to get better and I don't deserve to get better. And I don't want... I'm trying really hard not to say some of the things that go on in my head, because believe me, they're not pleasant, but I think they needed to be said sometimes to get the point across. Since I've been uploading makeup looks onto social media and now I'm doing YouTube, the support I've got has been overwhelming, and I have been told multiple times I'm an inspiration, and that's amazing, and it feels like I'm an inspiration. Wow. But if I let it slip in, I can also tell you that I'm fake and I'm a liar and I will never be better than this. And considering that I have never managed to ever be fake, even when I tried to as a teenager, and I can't lie for shit. I can't lie. I start laughing. But that's what my head tells me. I don't have an anxiety answer or an answer for it. I have the descriptions on my laptop next to me of every mental illness that I have, but I don't feel I need them at the minute. I think this is better. I'm telling you how I feel, and this is telling you my current situation and roughly how I got there. And I am doing better than I ever have in years, and I'm pleased with the way it's going. But it doesn't... Something I found when I first started improving was a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm so glad you're better now." And I had to bite my tongue so many times, because no, I'm not better. I'll never be better. I'll learn how to cope with this. I'll learn that this will not be my life, and I will learn how to deal better. I will never be better. I will always have this. I will always be the person with agoraphobia. I will always be the person with anxiety. I will always be the person with depression, and always be the person with the eating disorder. But I will be the person, I hope, who copes with them, who can lead a normal life. I'm 24 in about 6 weeks' time. I've never been in a relationship. I've never been abroad. I've never travelled to Scotland even. I've never learnt to drive. I've never gone for drinks with a friend. I've never gone for dinner with a friend. I haven't hung out with a friend in years. And I lost most of them because of this. I think anxiety can sometimes be glamorized and dramatized, and you do see a lot of people on YouTube with anxiety, and I am not in any way trying to say that any of them are lying, because they're not. At least I hope they're not. If you're lying about having anxiety, I hope you have a valid reason for it. But it can be exaggerated, and you don't know what it's like until you are in our shoes and you feel the constant daily struggle that it is.
I kind of need to lean forward a bit, so hello.
I don't know if I have any more to say. This is a very unscripted video. I just wanted to sit and talk to you. I wanted to explain how I got in the situation I am now. How I'm doing better than I ever have been, but I still have a very long way to go. How everything in your life is dictated by mental illness, and there is numerous times when you wonder if you'll ever have a life again. And even though I am on the process of getting better, I still think that a lot. I still wonder if I will, if I'll manage it, if I'll make it, or will I fall? Someone said to me that rock bottom was a solid foundation to work upon. And it's very true, it is a solid foundation to work upon. But it's also really easy to fall back to it. People don't explain the feeling of familiarity that comes along with anxiety. It's horrible and you hate it and you wish it would just go away. But at the same time, you know it. It's familiar, and well, this goes for all mental illnesses, not just anxiety. I'm just so used to talking about anxiety because that is, of course, as I said earlier, my main issue. But it don't work like that. I'll do so. I'll make this a series. This will be emotionally broken, fixing myself, because I broke. And that's the best way to put it. 4 years ago in November, I broke, and I'm still trying to fix it. I'll do videos on my history a bit more to explain, but right now I just wanted to go over my more current history and what led me to today. And right now I'm doing okay, but okay is a long way from good. Okay is a long way from anything, really. I'm doing okay, but I don't know if I'll be doing okay tomorrow, or the next day, or... And Indy snoring. I don't know how to end this. I don't know what to say anymore. If you're suffering, if you're watching this right now and you feel so stuck and you don't know what to do and you just, you don't know where to begin, and you may have told someone but not getting anywhere, or you just don't know where to go from here, and you're so fed up of feeling like this every day, but what do you do? Go to the doctors, get referred, get on the system, look up iTalk. They have sister companies all over the UK. Find somewhere, self-refer yourself, get help, all my contact details are either in the description box or they are on my About Me page on my channel. Contact me. I have a Facebook page, I have a Twitter and Instagram, and I have an email. Contact me. No one, I don't want a single person to suffer like I do. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I don't wish it on myself. I will see you next time, and I hope you maybe not enjoyed this video, but you found it informative and hopefully helpful. So until next time, just believe.